Good evening, people. Happy Socialist Sunday. Welcome to the Sunday live stream on my left eye. I'm your host, Lefty. You're all very welcome here. Solidarity, everybody. Sorry about the lift music breaking up during the test card intro there. Everything seems to be running smoothly now. Engineer, chimps and apes on standby, of course. It's a bit of a revelation there. It's actually a mixture. But thanks for joining us. Lots to come on tonight's stream. Hope you're all very well. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Dominic Jones was first in there, currently number one on top fans. Aaron Gray shortly behind in second, and JK with Odin Allfather as well. Mobius also joining us. Solidarity, everybody. Fists in the air, etc. Don't worry, Will. You weren't too late. Literally just started, just going through the opening garb. You know very well how these things go. Wonderful to see you all. First plug of the evening though, please do make sure that you've hit thumbs up on the stream. Let's appease the hopefully socialist algorithm gods. Pleased to say we have picked up some more subscribers this week. That's been very good to see, going off of the back of the BBC letter, the video about that the channel have officially commissioned and sent in. No reply yet. But thanks for all of your comments on recent content. That does also help out the channel, as well as sharing us on social media. Give us a follow while you're there as well. At MyLeftEyeUK is the handle you're looking for on Blue Sky, and Twitter, also on Mastodon. For anybody who's on that platform. Dominique enjoying some homemade dal. We're going into the fondue lounge shortly, when I'll disclose some of the stuff that's coming up on the stream. First of all though, a great deal of thanks to all the members on the channel. Thank you very much for all of your support, as always. The preferred way to support the channel is actually with gifted memberships. So thanks to those of you who've gifted others recently, as well as used super chat and super thanks. But if you don't have the means to support the channel via YouTube, there's a Buy Me a Coffee page. You can check out the description of this stream if you want the link for the Buy Me a Coffee page. And thanks again to those of you who've kept us caffeinated recently here on My Left Eye. Do appreciate that. Thank you very much, everybody. And we are currently on 112 towards the target of 250, as you can see there. Let's bring you folk on the screen. One second, just need to... make a quick adjustment here. Alright, we should be all good there. Yes, we see the people. Let the people be seen. Aaron Gray, great question. Very well timed question, in fact. I was just about to introduce Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics. That's the Sunday Livestream resident jazz background band. Take it away, fellas. We weren't sure about the logistics at first, of course. Keeping a small number of primates and apes close to a live jazz band, however, it seems to be having a somewhat soothing and calming effect on the usually pesky and crazy primates. So thanks again, Herbie. Bit of a change in tone where the music's concerned coming up though. I'm going to nip over to the fondue lounge in just a second for what some say is the internet's greatest earworm, courtesy of the agitator. That is Agitate for Change, who deserves credit for the Keith Fondue Lounge scene. We always try and eat quick whilst I run through what's coming up on the stream, and then we get out of there before things start to hum. It's mostly Margaret Hodges' fault. Alright, here we are in the lounge once again. What's coming up on the stream? Well, Keith and the bastard in the picture behind him, Tony Blair, have both come up on the stream recently. the last live stream, we're going to be picking up on a little bit more about Tony Blair's visit to the States. Making plans about, you know, just get Tony Blair in and the United States of America. They decide what happens to all the other countries. Don't involve them in the negotiations or talks themselves. It's obviously down to the likes of war criminals like this absolute piece of shit you can see on the wall there. Excuse me getting slightly ranty there. Don't particularly like Tony Blair. So yeah, an update on that, but like I said, there's a action-packed. Well, there's quite a crammed show this evening. There is some action contained within, I won't lie. But where Keith's concerned, we're going to take a look at just how much damage he's done to the Labour Party itself since he became Prime Minister. Mobius, thanks a lot for that gifted membership. Big up Mobius in the chat, please, people. Zuki, hope that you enjoy your perks. I'm not sure if you're watching right now. I think Zuki was on Friday's Brews at 10 live stream, if I recall. Thanks again, Mo, for that. Shout out for Mobius's YouTube channel as well. I'd definitely recommend people check that one out, especially the green-fingered horticultural viewers among our audience. Highly recommended. Where was I? Yeah, thanks again, Mo. But there's a really good article that's come out in the Squawk Box that I'm going to look at, which contains one of the former, again, that's going to be coming up a lot, former Labour heartlands, if you can describe it as that. I, for one, as I've said again recently, think the concept of safe seats, especially where Labour and the Conservatives are concerned, is completely out the window by now. That was a 20th century kind of thing, the fabled, fictional red wall, so to speak, simply doesn't exist. Even Keith's seat itself isn't particularly safe in Holborn St Pancras, with it being set at the moment to go to your party, which would, it's potentially a 4-year wait, but that would certainly be worth the wait after the crap that we've had over, you know, the last couple of elections or so, at least. So a little about that. Obviously plenty to come on Gaza as the latest Freedom Flotilla set sail today. Be taking a look at some of the testimonies from some of the more well-known passengers, or crew I guess you should say, really, as well as those who attended in Barcelona to wish them well as they set off. A little bit of news from the States. Now, someone who isn't at this party, probably for geographical reasons, but perhaps because no one's seen that much of him lately, Trump seems to have been somewhat elusive. Some have strongly speculated that this could be due to ill health. We'll be taking a look at that. In fact, this week's opening comedy clip concerns Trump and his deployment of the National Guard. Fingers crossed I'll get away with that one, as I'll explain just shortly before I play the clip. So a little bit about the States. Obviously, a while back, had to ditch the Trump and Musk's batshit crazy corner feature on the show since Musk's departure. But that will be replaced with something that keeps up with United States news. That is pending for this week, people. A new feature on the channel to look out for. What else is coming up? Just let me take a quick look through my bookmarks. I've got some interesting statistics out as well. that now have the new Your Party, Jeremy Corbyn Party, whatever you'd like to call it, the Corbyn Sultana Turbo Socialist. Let's do this. Power to the proletariats. Go, go, go. Maybe they might call it that, I'm not sure. But a very interesting stat where the youth vote is concerned has come out, so I'll be going over that. As well as a shit ton more of other things, and who knows what tangents we might get into. As I said, plenty to come. So get comfortable, people. Please stay with me for as long as you can on the stream. Double check that you've hit that thumbs up button. Anybody who's listening who isn't already subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button, and then you can join the chat with all these other awesome people here. Just 60 seconds later. Michael's just joined us in the chat. Hope you're well. Happy Socialist Sunday Solidarity. Thank you very much for joining us. Graham Turner also with us, fist in the air there. Great to see as always. And Genie Bottle. Genie Bottle. Hope you're well. Yes, I nearly said in a bottle. But if I had 3 wishes, it'd be for socialism, socialism, and more socialism. You bet you're right. Okay. Get your final fills, people. We'll leave Keith and come back shortly. All right. Thank you, Herbie. Bringing back Herbie and the Rangers. Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics, I should say. Genie, hope my wishes come true. So do I. So do I. This is potentially the last foreseeable shot for a generation in the next election to get strong socialist representation in whatever guise it might be. But we, that is, socialists, those on the left, have really got to do all that we can. Absolutely.
Can you dig it?
Right, let's kick off with a comedy clip, shall we, people? This is, I'll just pre-warn you, if you're watching back later on, I might have to trim this one out. It's from a source that I've used before, but I did get not a proper wrist slap, but a notification about it. Did have to trim it out because it's, I'll be very clear, this is an AI clip from Trump's AI Funnies. That's the channel if you want to check them out, really good stuff. But I've only played them once or twice before, and I've found that this happens. But I'm going to chance my arm, I'll stick my neck out, slightly rebellious that I am. I'm going to go for it anyway. So I hope you enjoy this one. Just pre-warning you, if you're watching back later on, it might be trimmed out.
For generations, the National Guard has answered the call.
Well, it doesn't seem to, even for us live here, it doesn't seem to want to. Just one moment, let's do some jiggery pokery. Let's get this going. I'm going to try that again. Sorry about the slight delay, people.
For generations, the National Guard has answered the call.
It's been a dick. Right, give me 30 seconds, people. I'll deal with this just a very quick half minute or so. If you'd like to talk amongst yourselves. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is top quality streaming, people.
For generations, the National Guard has answered the call. From storming beaches abroad to keeping America safe at home, a proud tradition of service, sacrifice, and strength. And today, that call to service has never been bolder. Whether it's laying down mulch, picking up used condoms and cigarette butts at the local park, keeping a watchful eye on minorities, or breaking up arguments about politics with firm, one-sided decisiveness, the National Guard is there. Whether it is assisting leadership on top-secret missions, or guarding important state secrets, or just helping everyday citizens, or keeping the peace in Joe Biden's reckless America, the National Guard is there. From Chicago to Portland, San Francisco to Philadelphia, we're deploying where America needs us most. Places Trump wants election victories, like cities with mouthy mayors, or states with obnoxious governors. Because when the Commander-in-Chief says jump, we say how high, Mr. President? And when he says white, we say how many ply, Mr. President? The National Guard no longer just your state citizen soldiers, but a proud extension of Trump's private army. The National Guard, yesterday's heroes, today's groundskeepers of democracy.
Really hate that sad loser, Mr. Newberger.
Who, me?
Very good. That is he, so do go and subscribe. Jeremy Newberger's AI Funnies. Really good stuff. Apologies if you're watching back on a replay and that's had to be trimmed out. It's just the way it goes with some of the copyright stuff, especially where AI is concerned. That wasn't obvious fakery though. I think you definitely have to agree with that. Apologies, Mo, I didn't update the membership goal earlier after you gifted membership. That now takes us up to 113. Fantastic news. Good to see the crew growing bit by bit. So a little bit more coming up on Trump later on. But for now though, just a quick update on one domestic matter that's been in the news quite a lot this week. The court ruled that an injunction, a ban on housing asylum seekers in the Bell Hotel in Epping has been temporarily lifted. The right wing have gone a bit sore over this, I suppose you could say, a little bit butt sore over the ruling, and nonetheless have gone out to, I use the word protest very loosely, to demonstrate at the hotel and in other locations. Yeah, sore losers and all that. The roundabout artists haven't had the way, so they obviously. The massive irony of this is you'll see the signs, the poorly spelt signs, of course, that say "Want our country back." That's A-R-E, not O-U-R, country back. And they'll say that they want to keep the illegals out. And at this particular first example, we saw 5 people getting arrested. There were assaults, including for assaults on the police. One of them apparently was in front of a 3-year-old child. Some genius decided to take their 3-year-old child down to this. So yeah, we're committing this crime to keep the criminals out because we don't want crime, is the clarion call, apparently, without a hint of irony. This first example comes from outside the Bell Hotel itself, which is in Epping, which is obviously most notable for its forest in Essex. Are there many East Saxons left there? I'm not sure. I brought that up before on the stream. You know, they talk about heritage and whatnot, and being patriotic, proud of themselves. Many of these knuckle draggers will describe themselves as Anglo-Saxons and accuse that very race that they consider it to be a race that's under threat. They consider indeed white people on the whole to be under threat, and by letting in migrants will become a minority in our country. It's of course complete bullshit. But whilst describing themselves as Anglo-Saxons, perhaps they're not aware of. In fact, there's currently an iPlayer drama out about it, isn't there? The Kings and Conquerors. Yeah, concerning a certain incident that happened during 1066, which you might have heard about if you know anything about the history of your own country, which you're apparently proud of as a patriot. But yeah, Norman invasion, much. These people who came over from Normandy, Brittany, Flanders, no, nothing. The Franks is what I'm... right, mini tangent, mini rant off the chest. As well as the violence, of course, there is the stuff on the roundabouts and zebra crossings. But this is how the far right keep criminals out, apparently, by just doing crime anyway.
Meanwhile, 5 people have been arrested at protests in West London today. The Met Police says a group of masked men attempted to enter the Crowne Plaza Hotel in Uxbridge via the rear entrance, damaging some security.
Masked men? Surely not. Surely not. Surely you jest. Because these are the very people who very patriotically and boldly call for masks to be banned. Whether it's because they were anti-vaxxers during the COVID pandemic, or perhaps they're just singling out female Muslims when they say that people shouldn't wear face coverings, etc. in public. Has there been some sort of oversight there? Because surely you can't be talking about the same group of people with the same mindset, because if that were the case, then that'd only illustrate them to be absolute half-wits. Oh, well, there you go. There you have it.
Hoardings. Our correspondent Emma Birchley is in Uxbridge for us this evening. By all accounts, this was quite a large protest, Emma.
Yeah, actually, there were hundreds of...
And look at these masterpieces on that bit of fencing, whatever it is, the barrier around the hotel there.
People who gathered for the protests today, and the police knew they were going to happen. There were...
Look at those. You could guaranteed 100% people that all of the people who drew those St. George's flags were 100% sober when they did so.
There was a plan in place, and for the vast majority of people that would have been a peaceful protest. However, at around midday, according to the police, two separate anti-asylum groups came here to the Crown Plaza Hotel, and one of those, or a group of those people, masked men, tried to gain entry to the hotel. This is a very, very big hotel.
Bearing in mind, again, people, just over a year ago, this kind of incitement led to arson at a different hotel, at a separate hotel. And this is the kind of thing that these goons are trying to do again. And just look at them. These aren't brave patriots. Quite a lot of them showed up, but I don't think I'd be gambling too much of my reputation if I said these won't all be people from Epping in Essex. We saw on these other pathetic protests were around 20, you know, you could fit on a small coach load of people showing up in Liverpool, as said on last week's Sunday live stream. They weren't Liverpudlians, you know, they were Nick Tenconi's lot. So they'll have come from all over, having had the so-called win taken away from them, the ban temporarily lifted by the court. So collectively, this is probably most of the entire collective of those who've been protesting around the country. It's as numbers go, as quantities go, it's quite a sorry sight. And you look at the people who are involved with this, they're completely duped by the grift that Farage is putting out, Richard Tice, Nigel Farage. And the mainstream media are fanning the flames, going on about immigration so much, and so is Keir Starmer in trying to rescue this dire situation in the polls by trying to outflank reform on the right. And it's not working. It's making this situation, this rhetoric, even worse. Just look at the state of it. This certainly doesn't make me proud, doesn't make me feel patriotic to see scenes like this.
In the past would have been used for passengers heading off on holiday, now being used to house asylum seekers. They tried to get in, they damaged some of the security hoarding in the process. I mean, it's 8 foot high all the way round. It gives it a real feel of kind of a prison here, it has to be said. Then a breakaway group headed off. And I'm just going to move around and you will see that over here is the Novotel. Beyond that is the Holiday Inn. So these are all hotels very close together. Now, the police also...
This concerns about 150 people, I believe. They're mostly or entirely male. A lot of these protests apparently come from allegations that one of the people in the hotel apparently left the hotel and made some sort of advances towards a teenage girl, which she strongly denies. I'll quickly remind you, though, statistically, where crime is concerned, it doesn't come on a small boat. It's already here. People who arrive in this country are in the lowest demographic in terms of likelihood to commit crime, any kind of crime that you could think of. And again, a lot of these right-wing protesters get found out to be into some pretty nefarious stuff as well, let's be honest.
Were there ready in case there was a protest, and they put in cordons, they lined up, blocking the way, and actually there were 3 arrests, 2 police officers received minor injuries, and then they enforced what's called a Section 35 dispersal order to get the people to leave the area, which they have done. There's absolutely no one here now at all. There has been a statement from Commander Adam Slonecki, who's been running policing in London today. He said, "We understand strength of feeling on these issues, but where peaceful protest crosses the line into criminality, including injuries to our officers, we will take immediate action."
Yeah, this isn't, they'll describe themselves as what? Concerned people. They're concerned about the community, concerned families, this sort of thing. It's bullshit. It's pure, I mean, not far away from where this live stream's coming to you from tonight, there was, again this week, another group, another gang of, I think it was 15 white lads who were convicted in a grooming gang. You don't see a whiff of presence from this lot. You don't hear Tommy Robinson banging on about it. You don't hear Nigel Farage or Richard Tice mentioning it. A gang of 15 people convicted this week here in the northwest, in Greater Manchester.
We deployed additional officers to the area, and 5 arrests have been made for offences, including assault on a police officer, affray and violent disorder. Around 500...
Affray, that's essentially trying to start a riot, is what that means. So, not a peaceful demonstration by any means, not concerned locals, worried parents who want their feelings to be put over facts and actual statistics where crime and immigration is concerned. They're completely deluded. It is, of course, a very thin veil for what is brazen and open racism.
Protesters were in the area, but most people have now dispersed from the immediate vicinity. However, further arrests will be made if we need to tackle disorder. As I said, no one here at the moment, but police ready in case there's any further trouble. But important to note that for the vast majority of people, this was a peaceful protest.
I don't really see how they can come to that conclusion. Arrests on officers. Yes, Mo, there is a word for that, violence for political means. It starts with an F. But it wasn't just at the hotel itself. Here's a clip from what went down in Canary Wharf, where things got very heated indeed. Let's see what's happening here, people. It's kicking off, it's kicking off. Look at more of these concerned citizens showing up in... Look at this, look at this. What can you say? This is fucking atrocious. Good point. Spell there more. Any of these lot going to be prescribed? Paint on a plane. That ticks the box. Assaulting police officers. No. Affray. Charges such as affray. No. Well, I'm just going to play that again. It's only a short clip. I'll turn the volume down because someone's going absolutely apeshit on the whistle there. One of them gets snicked, and you can see that someone there just being wrestled to the ground. And this, as you can see here, I don't know which exact part of Canary Wharf this is, if anybody can fill me in. But there's a sort of, I'm assuming, the shopping centre section. So this is spilled indoors, where people are just trying to quietly and peacefully absorb capitalism. and then there's all this. Can't they just go back to a peaceful day of getting ripped off by capitalists? So it looks like about 20 police circling a small area, trying to keep these goons away from whatever's going on there. Don't know how this all started or where the escalation was. Apologies, I've only come across this one clip. I do know that it's from Canary Wharf. But if for whatever god-awful reason I'd been dragged to the Trafford Centre or the Arndale here in Manchester and this was going on, it would be concerning for me, and not because of what these people, air quotes, protesting about. The demonstration itself is what I'd be concerned with. The fact that this is happening on the streets of Britain right now. They are amateurs, Aaron. You're quite right there. Zuki is with us. Good to see the shout out for more for the gifted membership. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you enjoy the perks there, Zuki. That was shocking, wasn't it? This is England. Did you see that one? I think it was on one of the zebra crosses one. It spelled England with 2 G's. This is England. I've seen some bits from that series. I can't say I've seen all of it. Not sure exactly when that came out as well, but it's very interesting that, well, the sort of setting for that was retrospective, wasn't it? This is what the country used to be like, but it's what these people seem to want to be looking to drag the country back towards, but not on our watch, people. Hell no. I'll be getting onto a few domestic affairs in just a moment, but I did say I had something else on Trump to talk about. We'll delve into that. It's all about the files. They'll be released and then they don't exist, and then Pam Bondi changes her mind and, oh, it's not this, it's that. They do exist, they don't exist, it's Schrodinger's files. Well, just very quickly, I forgot to say as well, just back to those far-right protests. Do you remember the one where there were the people on the balcony painting the St. George's flag on the side of people's houses? If you saw that video in the week, they've been arrested and charged as well. More UK stuff in just a moment, but check this out. When earlier today, MSNBC, of all broadcasters, dropped this bombshell. Apparently they've got quite a scoop where the Epstein files are concerned, and all could be revealed in just a matter of days.
This upcoming week, we have actually many of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein coming to Capitol Hill. We're meeting with them. They're talking to lawmakers. We're going to highlight their stories. We've got to center these victims. And I'll just say one other piece of news that actually just developed in the last couple hours is we finally got word from the Epstein estate. They're going to be providing the actual Epstein book, that famous book where that note that Donald Trump drew and doodled to Jeffrey Epstein, his so-called best friend of 10 to 15 years. The Epstein estate is actually going to now get us that book and a bunch of other documents that they have.
Wow, so that's quite a lot. First of all, Trump has been trying to disassociate himself from Epstein for some time now. He said he hardly knew the guy. You can see this clip of some footage here, which was taken during the late 80s, early 90s, I think. And there's a bunch of other evidence that clearly shows a close friendship between Trump and Epstein, that he's trying to have wiped out from history. He's not doing a particularly good job about it. Now, concerning this note, it was a birthday note that Trump wrote to Epstein himself one year, which was apparently quite childishly graphic, with, gratuitous sexual scribblings, in fact, illustrations that came complete with some illustrations as well. And the Epstein estate have still got this. I really hope this finishes him. I really hope this finishes Trump, because by rights it really should.
It's actually not been reported yet. Reporting it here for the first time. We're going to get those documents, as we understand it now, on September the 8th. And so that will continue our investigation. And again, we ask the question, where are the rest of the documents? What is Pam Bondi hiding? What is Donald Trump hiding? End the cover-up. Let's get to the truth.
September 8th, he said. So that's just a week away. Plus other documents. So who knows what could be contained therein. You're going to see Pam Bondi trying to jump through hoops when that comes out. And yeah, what's going on health-wise with Trump? Been broad speculation of perhaps liver and kidney disease, according to what some people have noticed on his hands that have been covered with makeup. has also been decidedly absent within the last couple of days as well. If it's worth reminding ourselves that, of course, he is the eldest person to have won the presidency, surpassing Biden's record. I can't say I've got any updates where that's concerned, just asking the broader question. Doc Davies is with us. Hope you're well. Solidarity this Socialist Sunday. Thanks for joining us. Domestic matters now. We'll go to this Squawk Box article. We're highlighting Durham, just to show you that header there with the Starmer clown. Well, there's a stat for you. In 2017, under Corbyn, Labour held 94 out of 98 Durham Council seats. Under Starmer, it has 4. Just 4. And this is Durham, of all places. As I said, the word heartlands can go in the bin, as can safe seats. Starmer's recycled Thatcherism destroying Labour in North East former stronghold. Shows the Your Party / Green Left working together is the UK's hope of defeating fascism. Sounds good. There's the... interesting, I like that. Shout out to the Squawk Box. Go to the squawkbox.org. I'll put a link for this article in the description of the stream as well. But they say Starmer's destruction of the Labour Party continues to accelerate, with polling averages showing the shell of a party that remains under his Thatcher-Blair hybrid war on the disabled, the sick, people with mental health problems, and our human rights, combined with his continuing collaboration in Israel's genocide of almost 500,000 people in tiny Gaza, and his attempt to be more fascist than Farage on refugees and policing. You'll always hear it straight from the Squawk Box, that's for concerned. They don't shy away from certain terminology, well, neither do we. I think we saw this particular projection on the last live stream, didn't we? This one from Stats for Lefties, you can see there. I was, of course, aghast that it's yet another one that shows that Lib Dem would be the second biggest party, even despite being the main opposition, would only have 79 seats. Grim viewing indeed. So that's not just in Durham, it's echoing across the whole country. And Labour, the aggregate polling of Westminster voting intention at the lowest levels in more than a century. The picture looks no better for the appalling toolmaker's son at local election level, where the scale of the country's disgust is even more clearly laid out, such as in Durham. As I mentioned, they used to have 94 out of 98 seats. And now Starmer has taken Labour beyond the event horizon of a political black hole, the hope of the UK avoiding fascism, saving the NHS, the poor, the vulnerable and our rights rests on your party and the Greens, under, fingers crossed, for the sake of the future, Zach Polanski working together across the country to galvanise the human being vote. The human being vote, quite like that. Squawk Box is a critical friend of your party and has written that it needs to jettison some of those around Corbyn who have not learned the lessons of 2019, especially that the best armour against the right's anti-Semitism scam is proud and defiant anti-Zionism that treats the racist, murderous ideology as what most of the country has recognised it to be. Now, my stance on that at the moment, I know some people have put it to Corbyn and he's refused to openly come out and say that he is anti-Zionist. We, of course, know that in private he probably does share that sentiment. But let's not get distracted, let's not get bogged down in the kind of things that happened around 2019, if there are any, of course, potential, what can we say, saboteurs, agents provocateurs, etc. In your party, then yeah, they rightfully would need calling out, especially if they did anything in 2019 or 2017 to try and take the vote away from Labour. There've already been hordes of people coming out accusing Corbyn and Sultana of splitting the left without remembering that they tweeted in 2019 that people should vote Lib Dem. Just one final reminder of what we're projected to be getting the way that Starmer is taking Labour. The reason why we need this galvanisation on the left. And it doesn't have to be overly complex either. As I've said, if you simply have one socialist candidate on each ballot, each of those independents or parties have agreed to work together. When the full results come down, if they can combine their efforts, then they could certainly have a significant presence in the House of Commons. I'm under no illusions of the low chances of a victory next time out for your party and the Greens, if there's a hung parliament, for example, which I still think that there could be. But if there is, it might not be those two parties who swing it. I'd hope there's an election sooner rather than later as well. It's been a rare thing recently that we've seen a full parliamentary term. But do have a positive sign where the growth of your party is concerned. Let's remind ourselves this is a party without a name. Doesn't even have a manifesto. But has now apparently. I have heard earlier today that they've gotten over the 1 million mark where sign-ups on the website are concerned. Now under Corbyn, the Labour membership expanded to somewhere around 600,000 plus. You could argue that if they'd had 1 million members, that influence might have gotten them over the line in 2017, who knows? This is just retrospective musings. But that really is a great sign. 1 million members. You have to congratulate that. That's brilliant stuff. I know that a lot of you watching will have signed up as well. So like I said, this kind of polling has also spilled over into projections for youth voting, which I'm just going to pull up for you at the moment. Let's remember, come the next scheduled election, the voting age will have been lowered to 16. So what do people who currently fit into this new demographic think about... One sec. There we go. Think about who's on offer at the next general election is what I think I was going to say. And it is a strong start from your party. You can see there, at 21%. So it is really a three-horse race for the youth vote at the moment. Labour slightly ahead on 24%, just 1% though in front of Reform, who were just 2% in front of your party. From a More in Common poll that took place this month, well, in the last day of the month. Still quite disappointed. The Tories on 13% and Lib Dem on 12%, compared to the Greens on 6%, I think is that's disappointing. But the Your Party stat is something to build on. That's a very solid foundation, you have to say. I'm all for giving 16-year-olds the votes. I was studying politics at 16 years old before I even had the right to vote. And I can remember, advocating for that back then. Not too far back. So that's a great start. Let me know what you think about that in the chats or in the comments if you're watching back later on. Double check you've hit thumbs up on the stream, people. I really would appreciate that. What do we have next on this smorgasbord? I think we could be shifting over to matters in Gaza momentarily. Just bear with me a quick moment. I want to see if there's any developing news on something before I get into that. Yes, because within the latest in Gaza. We'll be mentioning Yemen, and specifically the Houthis, as there's been not one but two bits of breaking news there. The leader of the Houthis has been killed by Israel, and it's just been confirmed recently that Hamas spokesman Abu Abida has been killed in Gaza. Israel says, according to the... yeah. We all know what I think about Israel says, anybody who's seen the latest video on the channel. Israel says. And with regards to the attack on Yemen itself, they did actually claim that they were looking for Hezbollah. That was the target of the attack. They just happened to hit a load of civilians by accident. But like with everything else, they think that's a valid excuse. They just accidentally missed their target.
Whoopsie daisy!
But like I mentioned, they did manage to kill the Houthi leader. I'll be getting onto that in just a moment. First of all, there were a follow-up on Tony Blair's recent visit to the States, like I said earlier, to discuss so-called post-war plans for Gaza at the White House. Of course, you don't go to Gaza to discuss that. You just talk to Trump, he talks to Israel, and that's it. But I guess I got my feelings out about that on the last live stream. But I have come across another great rant here from someone in the States about Tony Blair's visits last week. So I thought I'd just share that one with you here, because it's a really good testimony.
The single most important thing if you're in government is to work out what the right answer is.
Right, and you decided on war crimes, did you? That was the right answer that you worked out. Must have been a heck of a question. The right answer was letting George W. Bush pull your country and your people into an illegal war based on clearly doctored evidence of non-existent weapons of mass destruction, spurred on by one of the most prolific warmongerers in history, helping Dick Cheney help Halliburton steal tens of billions of dollars worth of Iraqi oil. Are you sure you calculated correctly? Could you show us your work, please? I'd like to take a closer look at some of these answers that you worked out. Like rebranding labor to new labor. We're just like the old labor, except more in favor of the super wealthy and corporations and big business and big banks and privatization, and less in favor of things like unions and, you know, laborers. Your so-called light touch policies leaving the door wide open for reckless lending, inflating bubbles, and laying the groundwork for the financial collapse in 2008, basically helping facilitate one of the biggest redistributions of wealth in modern history, except from the poor to the rich. You know, left-wing politics, Labour Party. Essentially functionally removing any actual fiscal left-wing policy from mainstream British politics altogether. Would you like to vote for the Tory party with a big, self-satisfied, smug grin on its face? Or would you prefer the new Tories with a sad, sympathetic, apologetic smile? Oh, you're poor, are you? Yes. How sad. I feel human feelings about that. And now, apparently, you're back in the Oval Office chatting with the Taco King and his insipid son-in-law about future plans to convert the Gaza Strip to a beach resort for wealthy Israelis. So, right back to war crimes, is it? And honestly, I don't know why I'm surprised now that war criminals of Christmas past are showing up in my feed all of a sudden. What else would I expect you to be doing?
Very good video there from Pissed Magistus. Pissed Magistus. If you're on TikTok there and want to go and give him a follow, we don't have a TikTok here on My Left Eye. But just a plug there, credit where it's due. Really did enjoy that rant about Tony Blair. Good to see those kind of thoughts being shared from an American as well, so solidarity to Pissed Magistus from the UK. Great stuff. Gotta stop saying that. I liked the way he put it, where he said the ghosts of war crimes past, was it, are showing up. Yeah, Guitar Guy, just a good point there about polls in general. Regular viewers here will know that I do take polls with a pinch of salt. You always have to bear that in mind. The only time I've ever done a political poll in my life, I was stopped by a lady who was in the foyer of the library, and she was doing a poll about local government funding, local council funding, sorry, I should say. Aside from that, yeah, I've never been polled on who I'm voting for on a national level or anything like that. You have to give credence to exit polls, but of course by the time they come out, all the votes are already in, so... Anyway, moving on, a lot more to get through on Gaza and the Flotilla coming up, but first of all, just a short clip here. Another great example of Mehdi Hassan's wonderful wit during interviews, and especially like it when he directly confronts Zionists himself, and in this particular clip he exposes the hypocrisy of Israel and the IDF, who on many occasions, as we discussed this evening, make claims about military targets and such in order to try and defend their actions. But when hypothetically, as Mehdi Hassan puts it, hypothetical attacks on IDF HQ apparently have a completely different moral standing where Zionists are concerned. Check this out, Mehdi Hassan.
You dropped £2,000 bombs on cities and towns. You dropped £2,000 bombs, Danny, on refugee camps, on schools, on churches, on hospitals, on mosques, on cemeteries. You did that. You need to. Your country did that.
Where Hamas is. Hamas is.
So you can bomb wherever Hamas is.
All civilians.
Danny, can you tell our viewers? Danny, can you tell our viewers where is the Israeli military headquarters? Where are the IDF? Could you answer a question for me, Danny? Could you tell our viewers where are the headquarters of the Israeli military? Where is the IDF military's headquarters?
The military is in Tel Aviv. But
it's in the heart of Tel Aviv. So does that mean that any Palestinian group can blow up all of Tel Aviv to get to the IDF?
No, because when you see... No, because the Israeli headquarters, they don't have tanks, they don't have...
Oh no, that's completely different. As Mehdi pointed out there, we found this out, of course, during the 12-day exchange between Israel and Iran recently. They deliberately put their HQs and other military facilities right in the heart of residential areas in order to try and claim sympathy should they come under fire. That's a deliberate tactic that's used by Israel. let's not forget, every accusation is a confession. And what this guy's going to say here, apparently the IDF, he's talking about the IDF HQ, and that has nothing to do with attacking tanks or missiles.
Because when you see, because the Israeli headquarters, they don't have tanks, they don't have missiles there.
The Israeli military headquarters is underneath Tel Aviv. It is near train stations, shopping centers, residential buildings. This is hypocrisy to say one side hides under civilians, but the other one doesn't. Mossad is also in Tel Aviv.
I'll tell you why not. Because Israel does not use this as a military base.
Of course you do. It's the headquarters of the IDF. It's where you plan your war. It would be a legitimate target in any war to attack a military headquarters.
Totally different situation, because
let's
we
talk
do not
about
shoot from there. The IDF does not have firing positions there.
But it's a command and control centre, is it not? How many times have we heard the words command and control centre? The hospital was a command and control centre. The school was a command and control centre. And then that one. God. Beggars belief. We did an airstrike on a hospital, and then we waited for journalists and other medics and aid responders to show up on the scene, and then deliberately bombed it again, just so that we could neutralise the apparent target that was a camera. You know, these are the kind of excuses that we're getting now. A camera. A camera.
What?
What?
Okay.
What?
What?
You gotta be f***ing kidding.
Whoopsie daisy!
So people, some good news. The fight against this continues. Lots of protests going on. I'm going to concentrate, of course, on the latest Freedom Flotilla that set sail today. There's also been a boycott from Italian dockers who are refusing to send goods to Israel in solidarity with the flotilla. And very powerful testimony here from one of the leaders of the boycott, solidarity with the Italian protesters here. This is quite fantastic stuff.
È la più grande iniziativa umanitaria della storia con delle navi civili. Siamo qua a Genova per organizzare la partenza della Global Sudum Flottiglia. Siamo stati chiamati all'interno dell'equipaggio per portare a Gaza beni di prima necessità, proprio perché vogliamo dimostrare che i porti, come il porto di Genova, sono porti civili e non di guerra, e questo l'abbiamo dimostrato negli ultimi anni bloccando armamenti non solo diretti verso Israele, ma anche in altri teatri di guerra. Grazie al coordinamento internazionale siamo riusciti oggettivamente a bloccare anche altri porti, e quindi vogliamo lanciare non solo il segnale che blocchiamo, ma che portiamo aiuti umanitari alla popolazione palestinese. Quindi vi chiediamo il massimo sostegno su questa iniziativa, di venire al Music for Peace a portare beni di prima necessità, e l'elenco lo troverete sui nostri social, e poi di seguire le nostre pagine fino all'arrivo della nostra nave sulle coste palestinesi. Oltretutto qua a Genova, sabato alle ore 21 partirà una fiaccolata dal Music for Peace in via Bailader 60 che raggiungerà Ponte Parodi, dove saranno attraccate le barche della flottiglia. Quindi vi aspettiamo tutte e tutti, piccoli, grandi, compagni, partiti, chi vuole venire deve venire a darci sostegno per questa grande partenza. È la più grande iniziativa umanitaria della storia con delle navi civili.
Bravo, molto bene. Yeah, a lot of well-known faces are going to be on the flotilla as well, like I said. Let's start with probably the best-known face, Greta Thunberg, of course, going out again, even though she was hijacked and kidnapped last time. Very brave to see this kind of resolve. Here's the latest from Greta.
What is new and unprecedented about this mission is the scale and the nature of it, where we are mobilizing people from literally all over the world. And we are sailing with dozens of boats, coming back even stronger, because last time we were intercepted and detained, we were saying already back then that we will be coming back, and take that as a promise. We are bringing food, baby formula and other medical and sanitary products that are needed to sustain everyday life. But the real question is, why is this needed? Why do we need to bring these things? Why is Israel blocking humanitarian aid from coming in? And most importantly, why are they depriving Palestinians the rights and possibilities to produce their own food, for example? This is a very clear a textbook example of oppression, occupation.
It is. As she mentioned, they're being deprived of the ability to grow food. A large portion of the 2.1 million Palestinians were actually farmers. They don't have the land anymore. That's been taken away from them deliberately, as she mentioned. Great show of solidarity in the chat there, people, with the flags. Awesome stuff. Good to see the truth join us as well. Sì, italiano è un bella lingua. Solidarity with Samud Flotilla. And another familiar face we're going to see now. Been notably outspoken on the issue of Gaza, as I'm sure regular viewers and a wider audience alike will be aware. This man needs very little introduction. Bob Villain was in Barcelona.
Why is it on people around the world to organize this and deliver the humanitarian aid? Why? That's a failing of the British government, right? And governments around the world. Why is it on the people to do what the government should have been doing? Why is it on the people to shut down weapons factories operating on British soil? You know? That is something that the British government should be doing and should have done a long time ago. We know that those factories are contributing to the genocide and the slaughter of Palestinian people in the tens of thousands.
Spot on, Bob. Yes, he is a vegan as well, Mo.
Why is it on the people to shut those places down? The British government is not doing enough. It is that it is doing nothing, and that is a stain on yet another stain on the history of Britain and the history of British politics.
It is. We know that's obviously because they're all paid up by the lobbies. About 3/4 of the current cabinet currently directly lobbied, including Foreign Secretary and the Prime Minister. Or Secretary of Foreign Affairs, whatever official, you know. Let's keep it simple. Blammy and Starmer. As well as Angela Rayner. I just bought a third property, of course, £800,000. That cost, currently in some sort of controversy over tax avoidance. It's the Tories who've made some sort of accusation against Angela Rayner about this. Also Yvette Cooper, of course, whose idea it was to prescribe PAL action. And speaking of which, just before I get on to more clips and stuff concerning the Flotilla, a quick reminder, people, this very channel, My Left Eye, will be there on the scene next Saturday, the 6th of September, to bring you exclusive footage and interviews from the Defend Our Juries protest, which is set to be even bigger than the last one, where over 500 people were arrested. I knew quite a lot of people who took part in that one, and I know quite a few people who were planning on going to the next one. So make sure that you've hit that notification bell, people, to keep up to speed. Apologies, some of you have said that you haven't been getting notifications despite hitting the bell, but hit it nonetheless, and I always do my utmost to notify people on social media. We always like to get that out there prior to stuff being released, and I'll be sharing the footage and interviews in the show coming next week. So there you go. All the more reason to hit the notification bell and subscribe to My Left Eye. I know I've played this next clip once or twice before, people. However, it's just a really good way of illustrating what the Flotilla is all about. For anyone who's not heard of this fantastic endeavour so far. Of course, I'll be keeping you up to speed with the progress as they go. Barcelona to Palestine is quite a distance. They set out from Sicily last time. This journey could take several days, perhaps going on a week, so we'll keep you posted.
Why is it?
Not that one.
We are working so hard to prepare everything to set sail to Gaza, to break the siege and to create a people's humanitarian corridor on the biggest mission ever attempted since this horrific siege was established 18 years ago, and on the moment that is the most critical moment for Palestinian history. So we need you. We need to mobilize everyone right now. Hello everyone, I'm Thiago Avila, an internationalist communicator and social environmentalist from Brazil, from the Global South. I'm also from the steering committee of the Global Sumud Flotilla. This initiative that is getting people that you know from previous boat missions to break the siege, but also the global movement to Gaza, also the Sumud Convoy, Sumud Nusantara. We're all together in over 44 countries, mobilizing not only for the boat missions, but also for many mobilizations, because we know that the time to act is now. The situation in Gaza is getting worse and worse by the day. The full invasion of Gaza City, despite the disgust of the people in the world, but so far we have been unable to stop the genocide, the ethnic cleansing, the Zionist horrific war machine. So we need to intensify our efforts. We have so many people here working so hard. On the 31st, we're departing from here, from Barcelona, with dozens of boats, and we're joining the dozens of boats that are leaving from Tunisia and other countries as well, and we're sailing together on this mission. It's been so wonderful to work with that many people, so dedicated to the Palestinian cause, so aware that it's not about any of us, that it's about a historical moment that, like other moments, other generations defeated apartheid in South Africa, defeated Nazism, defeated fascism. It's our turn to stop Zionism and imperialism. We cannot see anymore people being starved to death. We cannot see bombing of hospitals, schools, shelters, the whole destruction of Gaza City right now, the last place that is left in Gaza. We cannot allow that. We need to do everything we can. We've seen the request, the pledge from the people of Gaza. We need to do that. Now is the time to do everything we can. And it's been so beautiful to see people dedicated to mobilize. The people were saying, who would go on a mission like that? Because the risks are so high, and they are high. But 28,000 people apply to this because people know it's the right time. It's necessary to go.
28,000 people, a tremendous figure there. That is obviously an AI picture, but we are talking about scores of vessels that will be involved with this. It's on a completely different level of scale compared to previous attempts. And if the IDF try and interrupt this, it's not just going to be a minor diplomatic situation as it has been in the past. It's going to be massive. And I think the timing of this as well, concerning what's happened in the last 24 hours in Yemen with the Houthis, we could potentially see the Houthis getting involved in some sort of escort. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not saying there's any suggestion of that at the moment. But what has been confirmed is with the Houthis having apparently had their leader killed, they have vowed to take an action of equal measure against Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'll get onto that in just a moment. But I think that happening within 24 hours of this flotilla setting off could be particularly significant indeed.
It's because people know it's the right time. It's necessary to go. And people know that this is the decisive moment. It's the critical moment. So please, spread the word. Help us to build up on this. Help us to put the biggest pressure on the governments who are complicit, to break relations with Israel, to mobilize, to echo the voices of the Palestinian people. This is the moment that we put all of our efforts. We need to do this right now. And we are so, so close. Every day here we have beautiful news of the mobilization getting fruits, and things will work out. Just don't stop work. Don't despair. Channel your anger, your dignified anger into work. And let's do this together.
Have some more testimony coming up again from another familiar face to regular viewers on the channel, or perhaps you probably know them already. Just want to go over a couple of things I mentioned there. First of all, here it is again in a BBC article. I'll call it like I see it. Israel says that they've killed Abu Obaida, who's a Hamas spokesman. Defence Minister Israel Katz has congratulated the IDF and Israel's security agency Shin Bet, more like shit bean, for the flawless execution in a post on Twitter. Always Twitter, never X. But Hamas have not confirmed his death. The Palestinian armed group earlier said dozens of civilians were killed and injured in the Israeli strikes on residential building in the district. Just before I came to you on stream, I think 65 was the number that I heard. Again, another 65 people killed. I'll just read a couple of bits out here. Obaida was among the few remaining senior members of Hamas's military wing before its deadly... Here we go again. Before it's deadly, where's the full thing? It'll be down here at the bottom. You can bet your bollocks, people. It's not... There it is. those two sentences. Well, that's, yeah. Every time. Every time. Some of the latest scenes from Gaza. And that was following an airstrike yesterday. Something else I mentioned just a moment ago. Yemen, or the Houthis specifically, have vowed revenge against the death of their leader. Benjamin Netanyahu is apparently now in their crosshairs. Just have a look at this on Twitter. I think it's from Global Updates. It is from Global Updates. The direct quote is, "Israel killed our Prime Minister, now we will kill Israel's Prime Minister. It is as simple as that." Also threatening the Defence Minister in a separate post. And so far the Houthis have certainly had a lot of success with their blockades. Even the United States have troubled to stop them. And I think the attacks that we've seen so far following this, you know, you've not seen anything yet, people. In recent days, Israel have also attacked Yemen itself, as I mentioned. Back to the Flotilla now. As I mentioned, another familiar name is going to be amongst the crew. Tide Hickey. I think I did reveal that on the last live stream, but he's put out a video since he got to Barcelona, and then going to see one of his comedy skits as well, just a reminder about the sort of stuff he does. Because he's a YouTuber as well. Does some really good stuff.
That's it, guys. Welcome to beautiful Barcelona. We're about to set sail to Gaza, and just before I go, I just had one thought for Ireland. You know, it's so amazing to be here and to see so many Irish participants and so many members of the crew being Irish as well. I just met a lad from Cork there, like, you know, of course, and. But you know what? People keep coming up to me saying, do you know Ireland really stood with Palestine in its moment of need, you know? Ireland is really with Palestine all the way, like, and of course they're right when it comes to the people. But I, for one, I'm so sick of the Irish government standing on the backs of the Irish people, trying to get a bit of credibility when they're so shamefully cowardly the whole way through this process. Do you know that Ireland and Israel have a roaring trade, biggest trading partner in the EU, that our Shannon airport is still being used by US military to transport weapons to exterminate Palestinians in Gaza, that the Central Bank of Ireland has spent a lot of time buying Israeli war bonds, literally keeping the Israeli war machine going. So, you know, I think on behalf of the Irish people here, we don't want to be sailing to Gaza. Why would we have to do that? Like, I'm not a boats guy, my big bald head is burnt to a crisp. You know, I really miss my kids. I don't feel home with my kids. What about the Irish government step in and take some serious action? Maybe sanction Israel, maybe end the trade. Do something, Irish government. You know, the Colombian delegation are here. Their president has officially endorsed their delegation from going. It's not the least you could do, say, you know, fair play to the Irish people heading over, doing the bare minimum that we won't do. Like, we're here doing this because you won't do anything and won't lift a finger. So I'd say to the Irish government, we're leaving there in about an hour or two, you know. maybe just give us an old shout out or say you'll do something, you'll sanction Israel. I, for one, if you came out strong today, I, for one, I'd go home and see my kids. I'd love to. So, balls in your court. All the love to the Irish people, all the shame to the Irish government. Saoirse on Palestine, free Palestine.
Saoirse on Palestine. Yeah, he's a hero. Shout out to Ty. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Good to see the Irish and Palestine flags there in the chat. Thanks for that, Graham. Solidarity with the Irish. Always a great bunch. Of course, they know oppression and land annexation as well as anybody. Unfortunately, again, at the hands of my own country. But as Graham points out, it's a shame on all our governments. Difficult to argue with that. Again, something that shames me. To be a British citizen. The complicity, the inaction, the lack of a full trade embargo and full sanctions. And an absence of the British Army to escort the aid into Gaza. So as a reminder of some of Ty's work, but you have to bear in mind, people, this sketch came out about a year ago. I think I might have actually featured it on one of the very early live streams here on My Left Eye, but definitely worth a rewatch. You just put it in the context of being 1 year ago, and here we are just coming up to the second year of this advance in the occupation. That really does say a lot.
Brucey, you're not still marching, are you? Well, the genocide is still going on, so yeah. But then you're wasting your time, aren't you? I mean, it doesn't seem that Israel is overly concerned about a few hundred hippies in Cork shouting about enchiladas. Intifada. And what are you doing to help? Oh, I think there must be some confusion. I don't care. You don't care about unimaginably traumatized, orphaned children living in sewerage. Sorry. Yeah, what it is actually is, I don't care enough. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think Israel has gotten one or two things wrong. But that's war, isn't it? Generally speaking, good people. We do a lot of work with them actually inside, so I wouldn't want to... Would you have done business with apartheid South Africa? No. Sure, they were politically and economically isolated. That would have been pure madness. Man, there are grieving parents being handed bags of human flesh that may or may not contain bits of their loved ones so that they can approximate laying them to rest. An area half the size of the smallest county in Ireland has had something like 80,000 tons of bombs dropped on it in the last 10 months, more than the entirety of World War II. Men...
That was a year ago. A year ago.
Women and little children are in a real-life horror movie trying to escape annihilation every day with nowhere left to hide for almost a year. They're human beings like you. They feel pain like you. They seek love and peace and security like you. Will you fucking do something? Please? Anything? See, I think this is what turns people off. I mean, if you don't mind me saying, you're coming across a bit confrontational and, how can I say this, mental. I mean, if you just tone that down, you might get a few more people at your little parades. Toodles! Excuse me, do you mind if I join you?
False restart there. Yeah, shout out again to Ty Hickey. That's Hickey. I guess I should spell the first name out as well, in case I'm mispronouncing it, whatever. It's TADHG. Definitely worth a subscription. Doc, if you're in a fell mood, then I suggest that you divert and direct your anger towards the government. I hope the stream's helping you feel a bit better though, Doc. I'm doing weekly plugs for this next event that's coming up here in Manchester as well on every Sunday live stream. So some of you may have seen this clip before, but it's going to be a massive event. The World Transformed are going to be in Hume here in Manchester. I'm going to be down there as well. My left eye, I should say, are going to be down there speaking to people at the event. And it also ties into the solidarity campaign with Palestine as well. So for anybody who's from the northwest, please do put this date, or these dates I should say. It's a multi-day event coming up this October here in Manchester.
This October, something big is coming to Manchester. Across 4 packed days, Hume will turn into a national hub for radical ideas, culture and action. Workshops, assemblies, training and real strategy for the struggles we face right now. Solidarity with Palestine, fighting gentrification, organising our workplaces and building political power. But it's not just politics, it's music, art, exhibitions and the kind of culture that keeps our movements alive. It's where people from across Britain and beyond come together to debate, to dream and to organise. Something is stirring across the country. From the ashes, a new left is emerging. Sometimes, history needs a push. This is the World Transformed 2025. Be there.
We will be there, as I said, and hope you will too. I know that a lot of effort's gone into this event, so please do your utmost to make it if you can. Wow, we've had 287 views so far on the stream. Impressive. Thank you very much for everybody who's been helping share the stream around. Make sure you've hit buttons and whatnot. We are coming towards the end of proceedings though, but please stick around. I'm going to be raiding into another socialist channel. And before we go into the fondue lounge for a second time, I'm obliged to give a shout out to all the members on the channel. I really do appreciate it, people. Thank you very much for all of your support. It's just 99p if you want to join this list of awesome supporters, the marvellous members on the channel. You can get exclusive content, early viewings, you can use static emojis on live streams and stuff. Lots to enjoy. Just 99p. That's a fraction of the price of a tasty hot beverage. But speaking of hot beverages, there's also the Buy Me a Coffee page if you want to follow that in the channel description. We also have super thanks for anybody watching back later on. I think that just about covers it. Thanks again, everybody. Alright, time for a late supper again now, and I'm sure that any doctor worth their salt would recommend a large bowl of hot cheese at this time of the evening before you go to bed. Because if Starmer's policies won't give you nightmares, that definitely will. Right, here we are once again as we round off the week. I'll see who else is live and then we're going to do a redirect. As for things on this channel, just a final plug for the recent content. If you've not seen that video about the letter to the BBC, please do check that one out. But where live streaming is concerned, I'll be back as always with the brews at 10. So keep an eye out for those throughout the week. And, oh good, we've got No Justice live. So I'll be seeing you over there shortly. Make sure that you hit thumbs up and give us a shout out when we get over to see Helena at No Justice. Okay, that's all set up, people. We are good to go. Right, I'll say goodnight, everybody. Take care, my left eye. Be seeing you soon. Power to the people and free Palestine.